Hello, everyone, and we welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and so glad to be with you once again, coming from the LaSalle TV studio 56, and also joining you on Verizon Fios channel 36. Today on our program, we're going to shine the spotlight on the Social Security Administration and tell you many of the things that you need to know. You know, Social Security affects all Americans, and I'm excited. We've got two great guests that are going to join us, so stay along for the ride. We'll be back with our guests in just a moment. Here we go as we go forward with our program. Now, if you just turned your television set on, let me introduce myself. I'm the host, Thera Martin Milling, and this is News You Can Use. I have two special guests with me from the Social Security Administration, Patrick Robinson, who's a district manager in Chester, PA, for the Social Security Administration, and also with him, Edward Lafferty, who is a public affairs specialist with Social Security Administration. And I thank both of you gentlemen for being here. I think you've come a great distance to be here today, but we appreciate it so much because Social Security issues are so important to so many people. The older I get, Patrick, the more I want to know. Every time something comes in my mail with Social Security Administration on it, I am opening it, I'm reading, I'm looking, and I'm appreciating the fact that I'm getting the kind of mail that I'm getting with updates on where I am. Where I am exactly. So I will start by asking some good questions that we have for you today. Social Security is an important part of retirement planning. We know that, and again, that's where I'm getting now. So how many people are receiving benefits? Is that like a crazy question to ask?
No, it's not a crazy question. You can
almost 59 million people actually receive a Social Security benefit every month. So you're actually at 1 out of every 6 Americans receives a Social Security check, or actually these days direct deposit.
Okay. Now, what are the Social Security programs that are administered that people should know about?
The two major programs we have is, of course, Social Security is the program that you paid into when you, that Mr. FICA, they take out of your check every month.
Yes.
And then you hear about SSI. That's basically a needs-based program that we administer. So the two big programs are Social Security and SSI. Social Security is a myriad of different programs that come under Social Security. You have survivors benefits, you have disability benefits, and then you're paying retirement benefits that comes out of Social Security, and that's what you paid into. SSI is a little different. It's a needs-based program set up for aged individuals or individuals who haven't paid into Social Security and are disabled. So that are the two main programs that we administer.
Wait a minute. So people who may not have paid into Social Security, as in, let's say somebody who just was unemployable for whatever reason, didn't have a job, they can get some money?
If they're disabled and fall under the, what we call the means test, they are entitled to a benefit, yes.
Okay. Now, I work at a women's prison part-time in the evening, teaching a life skills job readiness class. And, you know, I'm supposed to be preparing these ladies to hit the ground running when they get up out of there so they can go get these jobs. And some of my women actually get jobs while I'm working with them because they're in work release, right? But then there's a crew that always comes in when they come from Muncie or from State Road or from the various prisons. They say, well, I don't have to be in this class because I have SSI and I can't work, or I'm not allowed to work, they tell me. But then other ladies who have SSI tell me, no, you can work, but you can only work up to a certain amount of hours. So what's the truth there? Are some of my inmates pulling my leg?
Well, again, SSI is a needs-based program, and you can work, but it's very small amounts that you can work. And again, if you're working, you have to get approval because, again, you're supposed to be disabled, and you can't really be working and disabled. Okay. So we have programs where you can work.
Just a few hours a week or something.
But again, it's basically, you have to let us know what you're doing and how much you're making. But for the most part, for SSI, you're really not supposed to be working, but we got programs. And I want you to kind of explain how it works with the programs as far as work and can't work.
We have 2 disability programs. Patrick already referenced the disability program, Social Security disability. You pay into Social Security. Yes. And that is based on your earnings record if you become disabled. There are criteria, requirements you have to fulfill. You would get a monthly benefit because you are considered disabled by Social Security's actual requirements, how they assess your disability, your ability to work, because disability is always about work.
Yeah.
So there's Social Security disability insurance. You'll hear that sometimes called SSD, SSDI. There's also the supplemental security income, which is for blind or otherwise disabled. Also for people 65 and older. There's what's called an aged claim. They're not disabled, but their requirements, again, have to do with needs-based, limited income, limited resources. So but both of them have what are called work incentives, because Social Security would like you to attempt to work if you can do it. SSI is much more restrictive because, after all, it is based on limited income, limited resources. And so in both cases, the work incentives, you really want to contact us about them. So Social Security suggests that, yes, if you want to work, let us know what you're doing, and we can give you, and it's also, by the way, on our website, www.socialsecurity.gov, those incentives to assist people if they want to try to work. So in fact, some of your people, when they say they can't go to work, that's not totally true, but it depends on what kind of work, what they're able to do, and so forth.
Okay. Now, you mentioned online, and that word online sort of makes my heart flutter a little bit, and I may be showing my age. I'm old school. I'm a child of the 60s, and I know it's important to be, on point, and, we're in the 21st century now, so we got to do everything like this, and internet savvy and all of that. But I am concerned about identity theft. I've been a victim of identity theft. I know other people who've been, and you hear about it on TV news all the time. So when you tell me anything about online, I'm like, not me. I'd rather come to the Social Security Administration and I go pay my bills in person, or I still do snail mail and lick the stamps, and I do. My husband, on the other hand, does the internet thing all the time, pays bills, does the whole bit. I'm just afraid of somebody getting a hold of my Social Security number and stripping me of ever being able to have a positive life again in the future. So even when you talk about doing online activity for your Social Security benefits and what have you, and your clarity, I'm just nervous. So what can either of you gentlemen say to our audience for old school people like me who are afraid of identity theft? Because that's really what it's about for me, identity theft.
Well, we're fortunate in our agency. We really advocating folks to use our online services, because we have been lucky so far and had none of our firewalls have been broached, or
that's encouraging.
We haven't had no issues with folks stealing our identities. We haven't lost anyone's identity going on to our website. So far, I think the way our system is set up and security that we haven't had no issues with folks' identity being stolen once they're filing a claim online. Because that's one of the things we want to talk about today is our online services and how to file online, and again, how safe it has been thus far for our agency, and we've had no incidents of identity theft so far.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good to know.
Well, and in addition to that, one of the points we wanted to talk about on creating a Social Security account is that in order to create it, there are a series of guidelines and security features. Social Security uses the best commercial encryption as far as that, the security features, firewalls, et cetera. But also, it's always the responsibility of the other individual. After all, you do have to be careful. It is your personal identification. So Social Security goes out of its way to make sure that your privacy is basically kept off of the line for someone who can actually take advantage of identity theft. I'm thinking of the ID theft. But also just the fact that we have it set up, and when I say we, I am not a programmer, so I say the agency, I want to be clear. But it is established that a certain kind of texting, a certain kind of security in terms of username, password, certain questions that only you would know, you have to filter those out so that typically it would be very difficult for someone to take advantage of it. Not impossible.
Yes.
In this day and age, it's never impossible. But Social Security has never been hacked.
So who should create an online account? Is it anyone?
Everyone.
Everyone. That's what makes you happy,
yes,
right?
Everyone, because again, just by, we used to every year send out your statement, how much you would get. It only goes out every 5 years now, and once you reach a certain age, once you reach 60, you'll get it every year, but it's like 25, 30, 35, so it's every 5 years. But if you're curious about how much did I make or a past history, Online, you get an online account, you can check your own earnings record. If you want folks with their 1099s, you can go online. Online, folks call the office, oh, I lost my Medicare card. You can go and get your Medicare card online. So many things you can do online now with our agency. But the main things, again, in your benefit statement, you have folks that get LIHEAP. They want to come into the office. Just can go online and get your own statement.
Okay.
So a lot of programs that you can use instead of
All right, you're
calling
piquing
up.
my interest.
Yes,
Okay,
you gotta
okay,
do
I'm
it.
gonna do it. I've never done it before, and I
Gotta
have
do
been on the Social Security website,
Yes.
but I haven't made an account for myself where I can,
I strongly suggest you
I'm gonna
make
do
an
it.
account.
I'm gonna do
Yes.
it. You
Yes.
just made me a believer. Okay, so how do you create an online account? I mean,
Perfect question, in fact, because we always tout this, but you actually have to go on our website, socialsecurity.gov, and in fact, it's right on the website to create an account. And there are a series of prompts that will guide you through it. One of the reasons you want to create an account, though, because you mentioned the identity theft, is because it brings up your earnings record. If somebody were using your Social Security number and working under it, you should see a difference in the amounts.
I would be flaming.
In addition, yes, that would be a very clear indication. The other point, though, is that, and as Patrick mentioned, the paper statements used to go out. The reason for sending those statements out every year is they're a really great financial tool. They show you how much, what you pay taxes, what you would receive if you became disabled, if you died and you have dependents, what you receive at retirement, varying ages, 62, your full retirement age, age 70. But most important is you should look every year, everyone who pays into Social Security should check it every year to make sure we have the right numbers. Because it is a bad time if you became disabled or if you die and someone's going to be applying for benefits on your earnings record, your Social Security, to find out that, oh, those years aren't there. What happened to them? So it's due diligence. It takes a minute or two. You know what you earned last year, or if you didn't, you look at it and say, yes, I'm fine. But that's part of the security. It is your earnings record. No one else is going to know where you worked.
A very nice young lady that I work with at Allegheny West Foundation, she was just sharing with us the other day that identity theft, someone filed taxes in her name and got the return money, like a significant amount of money. And she's now done all the paperwork and everything, and there's going to be an investigation. And she was told, if my memory serves correctly, she just talked to me about this last week, that it would be like June before this would be all straightened out where she could get her money.
Right.
I do want to mention, though, about that, because that's terribly important. Social Security really isn't the first place to go to for identity theft, because unless someone's actually using your earnings record, they're using your number, they are accessing some record through Social Security, we are the last in the road to clearing your name. But you probably already know that Federal Trade Commission has incredible information. And in fact, on our website, socialsecurity.gov, under publications, you can look for identity theft. There's a pamphlet in there, and it has a link to the Federal Trade Commission. What's good about that, and I always hesitate to say good, because it's useful at a time when this horrendous thing takes place, but it actually gives you sample letters, shows you how to think about identity, ask questions I would not have thought about, quite frankly. And so that's really useful, and you can get that. Identity theft is one of our publications.
Wow, we're talking with Public Affairs Specialist Edward Lafferty, and our District Manager from the Social Security Administration in Chester, Pennsylvania is in the studio, Patrick Robinson. I'm so glad you gentlemen are here. This is great information. We're going to come back and continue in a moment. Stay with us.
Had someone repeatedly put their hands on you even though you were saying no?
Been threatened into an unwanted sexual activity? Each year, there are almost 300,000 victims of sexual assault.
Unwanted touching?
Attempted rape and committed rape.
And even receiving sexually threatening messages?
Are all forms of sexual assault. Anyone can be a victim.
No matter the age, gender, or ethnicity? take a stand
against sexual assault.
Cyberbullying comes in many forms and can happen 24/7. If you or someone you know is a victim of cyberbullying, take preventative and assertive action. Keep evidence and document all instances. Remember to record dates, times, descriptions, and also save and print screenshots. Block your cyberbully and present your evidence to school officials or law enforcement. No one deserves to be a victim of cyberbullying, and together we can end it. For more information, visit stopbullying.com.
I can take her home. I got her. Yeah. No, it's really fun. I can take her home. It's no big deal.
Don't be that friend and help put an end to sexual assault.
I'm a writing center tutor, and I know more.
I'm an athlete, and I know more.
I'm a professor, and I know more.
I'm in Greek life, and I know more.
I'm an RA, and I know more.
If you see someone who may be at risk of sexual assault, step up and keep them safe. For more information about sexual assault and what you can do to prevent it, visit knowmore.org. Show your support by speaking out against sexual assault by using the No More hashtag on social media.
Continue with our program right now as we shine the spotlight on the Social Security Administration, such an important entity in our American government. And I tell you, somebody who's been around for me and supportive to me over the years of my broadcasting career in radio and even in cable television, this gentleman sitting right here, Patrick Robinson, giving all kinds of great information about the Social Security Administration and things that people need to know. And there has never been a time when I've had you on radio that I didn't have a hot show. You make me look good, so I love you. And then we also have with us Public Affairs Specialist, Mr. Edward Lafferty. I thank you for being here as well.
Thank you.
Definitely good information and important information to share. So now, what's the best way for someone to, aside from the internet, because I know that's number one,
Right.
You want people to be on the internet and doing online activity whenever they can. But for someone who feels more comfortable talking with a human being, or better yet, even coming to your location, how should they do that? Do you call first before you come?
I'm glad you asked that question. I mean, one of the best ways to contact Social Security is call our toll-free number. That's 1-800-772-1213. And we call teleservice representatives from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and limited hours on Saturday. So almost 6 days a week, you can call our toll-free number and get service, and they can answer any questions from soup to nuts regarding Social Security, locations, what happens to your benefits, stopping checks, starting checks, changing direct deposit, changing address, sending out Medicare cards. Almost everything you can do online. If you don't feel comfortable, you can call our toll-free number, and someone will be there to help you. And just general questions that you may have about your benefits, we have our agents standing by to answer your questions.
Okay. So now, let's talk about a married couple and an older couple. Let's say they're an older couple and they're senior citizens, and let's say the husband passes away. And so for 10 years after the husband has passed, the wife is getting benefits that she rightly deserves, and everything is copacetic. And then let us say the wife remarries. What should she do? You're getting benefits from a spouse who has expired. Now you have a new spouse, and maybe that spouse has some benefits too, because again, these are elderly people. So is there something that you need to do or should do?
Well, there are rules regarding basically when you're receiving spousal benefits. If you're remarried, first of all, you should notify Social Security, because normally folks, you're not supposed to, we don't want to tell anyone they can't remarry, but you can't really get the benefits from your ex-spouse but once you're past 61 and remarried, it's no problem. But if you're younger than 61 and remarried and you're getting spousal benefits, that's a no-no. So it all depends on your age and of course notifying us, and we'll give you the guidance which way to go. But for the most part, if you're under 61 and receiving widow's benefits and then remarry and don't notify us, then you're looking at it's possible fraud. So I would ask your viewers if they have any questions, again, to call our toll-free number, or just come into your local office, or go online and read about it. And but the best thing to do is if you don't know, ask somebody.
Right.
Call
Rather than
Social
get in
Security
trouble.
and you get in trouble. Just call somebody. And I don't know if you want to expound on that, but for the most part, you need to call someone to find out because of the age.
Well, it's actually 60. If you can remarry after age 60, and so you have, doesn't mean you can't receive widow's benefits. The point is that after age 60, you do have an option. So let's assume you were talking about the elderly couple. Individual has been receiving survivor benefits quite a number of years. They're well over 60. And now they remarry. True love takes place. Now they have the potential, in order to receive spousal benefits on someone who's alive, you have to be married a year. There are a couple other criteria, but we're just going to say for a year. At the end of a year, if you wish, you could establish, yes, I can receive more as a spouse than I could as a survivor, as a widow or a widower. And so you do have the right to contact it. Prior to that, you really don't have to be contacting us all the time.
So now what
it's really if you remarry, though, and you want an additional benefit. We're not telling people don't remarry if you're 59. We don't want that. But if you want the opportunity, if you think, I might apply for spousal benefits on this current spouse, the person I've just married, then it has to be 60 or older.
Let's say the marriage doesn't work out, the second marriage, and you get a divorce. Can you revert back to the benefits that you had prior to the second marriage?
Yes. And in fact, we have this happen at times. For example, by the way, we do want to mention, you said survivor, a widow and widower, but there are surviving divorced spouses benefits. There are divorced spouses benefits. So let's assume that, and divorced spouses benefits, you had to have been married 10 calendar years, 10 full years. So let us assume the person gets married and they get divorced. They have an option. Do they want to apply for the prior benefit, that? Or let's assume they didn't stay married for 10 years. They can always go back and apply as a widow. You have the option, what pays you the best. And that's why Patrick was saying about getting in touch with Social Security. You always want to, if in doubt, and the easiest way is doing the 1-800 number, going online. And by the way, you can go online and do a lot of work on there. It has nothing to do with giving your Social Security number. It's just general information.
Okay, we've got like 5.5 minutes to go, and I'm going to shoot some questions, and I want some fireball answers because there's great questions, and I want to try to get to them. Okay, so what is the earliest age I can start receiving Social Security retirement benefits?
Retirement is 62 is early retirement.
62. Okay, all right. When should I file for Social Security retirement benefits? 3 months, 6 months?
Well, I mean, you can file 3 months prior to retiring. So that's the earliest you can. It's 3 months prior to you want to retire. 3 months early is you're okay.
Okay. Does work affect your Social Security retirement benefits?
You have to take 2 steps back. There's what's called full retirement age. That's the age at which you receive your full benefit that is not reduced based on age. So, for example, if you're born between 1943 1954, your full retirement age is 66. Prior to your full retirement age, if you apply for retirement benefits and you want to go to work, there are limits on how much you can earn. Once you attain your full retirement age, become Oprah Winfrey, become Warren Buffett, good luck to you. Prior to that, there are limits.
All right, here's a good one. Does my birth date affect when I receive my benefits?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, the way it works is this. We won't ask you when you were born, but were you born between the 1st and the 10th? The 11th? Okay. If you're born between the 1st and the 10th of the month, you receive your benefit on the 2nd Wednesday of the month. If you're born between the 11th and the 20th, it's the 3rd Wednesday, and you can see the pattern going on here. Born between the 21st and the 31st, it's the 4th Wednesday. So you can have, depending on your date of birth, And there are some people who were on prior to 1997, they still get it as used to be on the 3rd. But it's anyone applying now, it's the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th Wednesday, depending on
Interesting. Well, now, how is my retirement benefit figured? That's what I want to know, because I want a lot of money. I don't want to live well in retirement age.
I'm going to defer to you, Ed.
We use the highest 35 years of your earnings. Now, it's indexed, it's taken into account your work history, the amounts on which you paid Social Security taxes. And we always use the highest 35, meaning if you continued, if you wanted to work till you were 100, and the amounts you earned were high enough to replace one of the earlier years. But we always use the highest 35 years, and it's really essential. That's why people need to look at their statement. We use the highest 35 years, not the high 3, high 5, or high 10.
Okay. Are there benefits for spouses and children?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Benefits for spouses and children. Again, you talked about, say, for example, God forbid something happened to me, I become disabled, my children under 18, still in high school or preschool, whatever, they'll be entitled to benefits. My wife, depending on
my
age,
dad died when I was 15.
So,
he was 50, and that carried me through private school and Marquette University
I'm sure
College.
Your mother probably received benefits,
LaSalle
and
University.
your brothers or sisters all should have received benefits on behalf of from your dad's record.
Can you withdraw your retirement claim and reapply later to increase your benefit amount?
That question all the time.
Yes. With this qualifier, it's only the full year after you become entitled to a benefit. In other words, you have 12 months to make a decision as to whether you want to start over again, meaning you would withdraw your application, pay the back money, by the way, and it's just once a lifetime.
Darn it, I'm all but out of time, and I have 20 more questions I want to ask, but let's put out that phone number again and the website, please.
Our toll-free number is 1-800-772-1213, and of course, go online at www.socialsecurity.gov.
Okay,
please.
Thank you so much for coming, both of you gentlemen. We really appreciate the information that you shared. And this is the kind of show that's a keeper. We're going to play this and share it and play it and share it. And just a great show. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate
you so much.
We appreciate you. And as we wind it down on this edition of News You Can Use, certainly the month of March 6, 2015 to be exact, was a devastating day in the history for Philadelphia when a Philadelphia police officer was murdered, his life stolen from him. Police officer Robert Wilson III. Our condolences, our heartfelt condolences to his biological family and the Philadelphia Police Department family as well. Thank you for watching this edition of News You Can Use. Take care.